Hi everyone! Welcome to another learning episode. It has been a long time since I uploaded my last video. Today, I'll be sharing with you how to write the hypothesis of the study. But before anything else, let us define first what is hypothesis. Hypothesis is a statement that proposes an expected result. It is a testable prediction about what you expect to happen in the study. There are a few things that we have to consider in writing the hypothesis of the study. First one is, our hypothesis should predict the relationship or the outcome of the study. Second, in writing our hypothesis, it should be written in a very simple manner, concise and precise. So as researchers, as proponents of the study, let us make sure to avoid wordiness in writing our hypothesis. Third one, our hypothesis must have observable and testable results. And for the fourth one, which is also very important, our hypothesis of the study should be aligned to our research questions. I will be providing you an example on how we could write our hypothesis of the study. For instance, we have this research title, "The Literary Appreciation and Reading Performance of Senior High School Students." What research design is employed in this research study? So if this is our research study, we will be using a quantitative correlation research design, since we will be assessing or we will be evaluating two set of entities. The first one is the level of senior high school students' literary appreciation, and the second one is the level of senior high school students' reading performance. And then later on, we are going to check the relationship between these two variables. How are these two related? Now, before we could start writing our hypothesis, we should go back first to our specific questions. For this research title, our specific questions would be 5 all in all. The first one would be, what is the level of senior high school students' literary appreciation when taken as a whole and when grouped according to 1. Sex, next strand, and then the other one would be family income. These three groupings will serve as our variables. Now for our second specific question, it would be, what is the level of senior high school students' reading performance when taken as a whole and when grouped according to the following variables? We have sex, strand, and family income. Now for the third one, our 3, 4, and 5 questions will be yes/no questions. So for the third question, it would be this way. Is there a significant difference in the level of senior high school students' literary appreciation when grouped according to the aforementioned variables? When we talk about the aforementioned variables, these are the 3 variables mentioned in our first and second question. Now for the fourth question, it is still a yes/no question, but this time, it will be looking into the significant difference in the level of students' reading performance. So it would be written this way. Is there a significant difference in the level of senior high school students' reading performance when grouped according to the aforementioned variables? Once again, these are the 3 variables mentioned in our question 1 and 2 earlier. Then for our fifth question, is there a significant relationship between the level of senior high school students' literary appreciation and reading performance? So these are the 5 specific questions. Now, once we read our specific question, the next thing that we're going to do is to already make some predictions. How could we do that? Since the researcher already knew the 5 specific questions, the next thing that we're going to do is to go to our yes/no questions, which are found in numbers 3, 4, and 5. Out of these questions, we can formulate statements, or we can formulate our prediction. What do we expect the findings would be? So our third question, is there a significant difference in the level of senior high school students' literary appreciation when grouped according to the aforementioned variables? Definitely, we can formulate 2 predictions for this question, right? So how could we do it? The only thing that we have to do is to transpose this statement to a declarative statement. So from a question form, we're just going to transpose it into a declarative form and formulate 2 set of predictions for this one. We can have a positive finding, or we can also have a negative finding. How could we do it? How could we transpose this statement? If our finding would say that it has a positive result, then we could say it this way. There is a significant difference in the level of senior high school students' literary appreciation when grouped according to the aforementioned variables. So this one is a positive statement that supports the finding that there is a significant relationship among the variables. Now what about the second prediction? We can also say a negative prediction or a negative statement. We can say it this way naman. There is no significant difference in the level of senior high school students' literary appreciation when grouped according to the aforementioned variables. So we have two sets of prediction, right? The first one is a positive statement. It supports the finding that there is actually a significant difference, while the other one is a negative statement which supports the finding that there is no significant difference at all among the variables. So these two actually are the two most popular types of hypothesis. We have the null hypothesis and the other one is the alternative hypothesis. Let's proceed to our fourth specific question. Is there a significant difference in the level of senior high school students' reading performance when grouped according to the aforementioned variables? The same thing that we did in our third question. The only thing that we have to do is to transpose this question form into declarative statement. We can formulate two predictions for this one. We can say it in a negative statement and we can also say it in a positive statement. For a null hypothesis, we can say it this way. There is no significant difference in the level of senior high school students' reading performance when grouped according to the aforementioned variables. But if we choose to make an alternative hypothesis, we could say it this way. There is a significant difference in the level of senior high school students' reading performance when grouped according to the aforementioned variables. Now for our fifth specific question, and of course the last one, is there a significant relationship between the level of senior high school students' literary appreciation and their level of reading performance? This way, we could actually formulate two sets of variables as well. We have a null hypothesis and the other one is an alternative hypothesis. For a null hypothesis, we could say it this way. There is no significant relationship between the level of senior high school students' literary appreciation and their level of reading performance. What about the alternative hypothesis? For alternative hypothesis, of course, we can transpose the question form into declarative statement by saying it in a positive finding, meaning there is a significant relationship between the level of senior high school students' literary appreciation and their level of reading performance. So this is how we write our hypothesis of the study. So all we have to do is to make sure that we know the specific questions, we align our hypothesis, we align our predictions to the research questions that we have in our research paper, and then afterward we just have to transpose the interrogative statement into a declarative form. We could formulate a null hypothesis or we can also formulate an alternative hypothesis. By the way, aside from these two types of hypothesis, we also have other hypotheses or other types of hypothesis, but then again, these two are the most popular ones. So these are the two types that I am sharing with you guys, and that is how we write our hypothesis of the study. Always remember to write it in a very simple manner, the same thing that we did earlier. All we have to do is to go back to our specific questions, make sure that our prediction is aligned to the specific question that we have, and once we already have our specific questions, the very simple thing that we could do is to transpose the interrogative statements into declarative statements and choose whether we make use of the null hypothesis or the alternative hypothesis. Thank you so much for your trust, and we are still growing, and I hope we continue to grow this year. Once again, keep on learning!